Smallholder farmers have limited access to quality seeds of improved varieties. This represents a major barrier to achieving higher yields and improving livelihoods. Much of the breeding for food security crops is in the public sector, and the capacity to deliver lies in the private sector. Hundreds of millions of dollars are invested in public breeding each year, yet many of those varieties are still not reaching smallholder farmers. Large seed companies all over the world regularly manage this handover between plant breeding and seed production successfully. This is largely because the entire process takes place within the same organization, with research and development handing over to marketing. Whereas in many developing countries, this equivalent process involves separate organizations with poor or non-existent links between them.
So the Syngenta Foundation C2B program was set up in 2013 to address challenges involved in the handover between breeding and seed production. As the whole program grew over time, the large amount of data became just more challenging to manage. So that's why in 2016 we began to develop a custom-built tool called the Field Trial App. The Field Trial App is a tool to manage trials. It includes, on one hand, target setting, which is done by the target product profile, but also data collection in the field and report function. Additionally, it implements the product advancement process, which is based on the Syngenta commercial product advancement process, but adapted to a smallholder context. The product advancement process supports the decision-making that needs to happen at each stage of the product life cycle of a variety, so from breeding up until commercialization. We now have over 650 varieties under trial in 5 countries across roughly 70 to 80 trial sites. And many of them are part of projects with external partners.
Hi, I'm Anders Meyer. I'm from Resonance Group. We are a technology company specializing in agronomic solutions, and we have quite a track record. So we did Farm Force. We also do solutions for field trials, for seed production, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So let's have a look at the first dashboard. The app here is used for trial management, and you can see on the screen at the moment the dashboard with a map of the sites where trials are being done. So normally, before you start creating trials, you want to set a target. For that, we have something called a target product profile. We already created one to look at how this works, which is called Mali onion. Fields that it can fill in: country, crop, market segment, agroclimatic zone, these kind of things. Target number of commercial varieties that you want in the end, and things like the varieties you want to displace. You then want to define the criteria that have to be met to call something a success. So in this case, traits that you define, which we set, for example, yield, what you want for it to meet as a criteria, which in this case is being better than the benchmark variety Orient F1. You can look at a graph that shows these in a grid to position the value potential of a certain criteria. Once we have this TPP defined, we will then start creating actual trials.
Trials can be created in this screen. Here we enter all the relevant details and then link it to the specific target product profile. Next, we'll enter the variables that we plan to test for, in this case, the variety. Next, we'll enter the sites and then the experimental design. In this screen, we can customize the layout of the plots. In step 6, we define the observations. In green, we have the scientific ones, and in yellow, we have the ones that are relevant to the trial management. Once all of the steps have been completed, you can then activate your trial, and it'll be ready for input through the mobile application in the field. So let's assume the data was input in the mobile application. What you would do next is go back to the target product profile. After each season, a product advancement meeting is held, where the status of each variety is then discussed. For example, if we take Fernanda, which is currently at stage 6, here we'll see an overview of the trial data. We can then use this information to reach a decision on what to do next. Once a conclusion has been reached, we can decide whether to move the variety to the next stage or discard it should it have been unsuccessful. We can then add the date at which the next stage will begin, as well as any relevant comments. Here we see that Fernanda has been moved to stage 7, and this will be reflected in the next dashboard.
In the dashboard, you can see in what countries we have what kind of trials. You can also see how many transitions have been done in which country crop in a year. So you can see what we just did. We transitioned from stage 6 to 7.
This field trial app would also complement equivalent programs that are aimed at modernizing the front-end breeding part of the process. The field trial app would also be perfectly adaptable into existing projects and initiatives run by the Foundation. This is really about public-private delivery of public goods, and the contribution we really want to make to this paradigm.